The Diversity Visa Lottery is ongoing, and in today's video, we will be going through the DV entry form to explain the various questions. Hi and welcome back as we access the form online. As you are aware, the address of the official DV program website is dvprogram.state.gov. All right, so we enter that address and we are taken to the official diversity visa program website. Now you have to scroll down the page to get to the green button and click on it for you to have access to the DV entry form. The next thing to do on the next page is to type in this code, the code that you see appear just above this space. Type it in the space and click on submit, and that will take you to the form itself. Now here is the form. So we begin by explaining the various questions. Question number one is about the name, and in this first page we have last or family name. The second space requires your first name, and then the final space requires your middle name. Now the family name, as you are aware, is the name that is common to members of your family. So if you are called John Doe, for example, Doe is going to be your last name or family name, and then your first name will be John. Now, in some traditions, individuals may have only one name, no first, middle, or last name, just a single name they are called by. So in that case, you enter that single name in this space. Now, in case you have a family name, as we said earlier, you enter that family name or last name in this space, and in the middle space, that's where you're going to enter your first name. So as we said, if you are John Doe, John is going to be entered in this space, and Doe, that is your last name or your family name, will be entered in this space. Now, if you have a middle name, not everyone has a middle name, but if you have a middle name, the middle name is going to come into play in this final space. All right. Now, if you do not have a middle name, you just click in this box. All right. It's going to be corrected, and then your form will be submitted without a middle name. The same for someone who doesn't have a first name. If you do not have a first name and a middle name, you also click in this box, and that single name by which you are called will be spelled out here, and your form will be submitted without first and middle names. Now, I usually get the question regarding a change of name, and it usually concerns women who got married after they acquired their passport. Now, this space, question number one, is actually intended for your name, your official name, the name that you are using currently. All right. So, in case you got married after you got your passport, that is, you already had your passport with the name of your parent or your father as your last name, and it happened that you got married and your name changed, that is, you have now added the name of your husband as your last name. In that case, write your name as you use it currently. All right. That usually concerns women who got married after being issued the passport that they are currently using. So in that case, your last name or family name has to be your current last name. That is the name of your husband. Now, there are cases where the names are combined. That is your middle name and your current last name, the name of your husband. So in that case, you can spell them out here, and then your first name is going to be here. And in case you have a middle name, that middle name is going to come into play year. That's the specific case of women who got married after they were issued their passport. Now, if you are not in such a case, that is, you are just an ordinary person with a passport whose name didn't change or has not changed, just enter your name in these spaces as it appears on your passport. All right, now for the second one is a very easy one. If you are a man, you click in this box. A woman will click here. All right, we'll move on to the next one, which is your date of birth. Now you are going to enter by choosing or by typing in two numbers. The month is represented by 2 digits. So the first month will be 01, that is for January. February will be 02, March 03, April 04, etc. The day year doesn't speak about the day, Monday, Tuesday, etc. It speaks about the actual date on which you were born. So if you were born on the 15th, you will type in 15 in this space. If it's the 25th, you type in 25th. Now, as regards the year, you type in the full year. Now we move down to the next question, which has to do with the city where you were born. As you can see, do not enter district, county, province, or state. Your answer to this question should be the specific city where you were born. Now, not everyone was born in a city. So if you were not born in a city, but you were born in a town or a village, write the name of that town or that village in this space. All right? For those who were not born in a city, include your town or your village where you were born, because not everyone is born in a city. But do not write the name of the wider region, that is the district where that city or that town or that village is located. Do not write the county, do not write the province or the state, just that specific city, town, or village where you were born. And then we move to question number 5, the country where you were born. Now, after choosing the city, village, or town, that location is situated in a country. So to choose that country, you just click on this drop down and then you choose from the list of countries. Or whether you were born in a country that is eligible for the DV program this year or not, you will see the name of that country on this list. So you simply choose that country from this list, and whatever country it is that you choose from this list is going to appear in this space as your answer to question number 5. Next is your country of eligibility. This question is asking based on your response from question number 5. All right, are you claiming eligibility based on the country where you were born? If yes, the default answer is yes. If you chose a country that is currently eligible at question number 5, then you do not have to bother with question number 6 because the default answer is yes. But in case you chose a country at question number 5 that is not eligible for the DV program this year, then at question number 6, you will have to choose no. And then, as we mentioned in our last video, there are exceptions that allow someone who was born in a country that is not eligible to participate in the diversity visa program. We said if the person was born in a country that is not eligible, but their spouse, their husband or wife, was born in a country that is eligible, that person is allowed to enter. So in that case, after choosing a country, your country of birth, that is not eligible for the DV program this year, at question number 6, you choose no, and then click on the drop down and choose the country that makes you eligible for the DV program this year. It could be the country of your spouse if that country is eligible, or the second case was country of your parents. If you watch the last video, you will have relevant explanation to your country of eligibility. So in that case, you simply choose the country of your parents or your parent that allows you to be a part of the DV program. That is for question number 6. Now down to the next question, question number 7. All right, this one has to do with your passport. As you are aware, in order to enter the diversity visa program, you must be in possession of a valid non-expired or unexpired passport. So this section, that is question number 7, covers your passport information. Now in these spaces, you have to reproduce your name exactly as it appears on your passport. That is why in question 1, I mentioned the case of women who got married after they received their passport, because in this space you are going to list or write your name exactly as it appears in your passport, and it goes for everyone. Once you have a passport, it means that your name as it is written in your passport should feature in these spaces. That is your last of family name, your first name, and then your middle name as they are in your passport. The next space is for your passport number. There is a number that is specific to you in your passport. Reproduce it in this space. Then your passport expiration date, as we saw for the birth date, you have to choose the month by typing in 2 digits to represent the month. If the passport will expire in July of next year, for example, you have to type in 07, which represents the 7th month of the year, the date on which the passport will expire, and then finally the year. All right, if it's 2022, you type in 2022. Whatever the year is, you type it in this final space. Now your passport expiration date will be a date in the future. If you have a passport that has an expiration date in the past, then it means you are not eligible to enter the diversity visa program. Next is the country or authority that issued you that passport. So as we did in previous questions, you just click on the drop down here and choose from the list of countries the name of the country that issued you that passport. Once you have done the A section of this question, that is passport information, meaning you have a passport, there is no need to answer question B. Question B is for those who are exempted from having a passport, but this is a very rare case. So the question B is a question that almost no one, perhaps just a few persons around the world, will actually attempt this question B. For that reason, we move on to question number 8, and that question has to do with your photograph. As you are aware, you have to upload a photograph along with your diversity visa entry. Now, clicking this link is going to give you the photo instructions, and you will see photo examples as well. Alright, there are a whole lot of instructions regarding the photo, and I will say that this is the most challenging aspect of the diversity visa lottery. You have to respect all of the rules surrounding your photograph. So if you do not know much about taking a diversity visa photograph, simply click on this link and it's going to take you to the page that concerns the instructions regarding a diversity visa photo, and you can use the information there to take the appropriate photo. Now, once that photo is taken, you will have to save it somewhere on your computer or your smart device that you are using to enter the Diversity Visa Lottery. Once you do that, you click on this link where you see it is written choose new photo, and that is going to open a dialog box where you will go through and then select the photo that you have already chosen as your Diversity Visa photo. Now you click on open, and that photo will be uploaded to your Diversity Visa entry. The next one is question number 9, mailing address. Now, in care of, this is a field that usually creates confusion. You only use this field when the address that you are going to write is the address of someone else. If it's your personal address, you do not use this field. So, in care of, then you will use the name of the owner of that address. It could be an individual, but it could also be an entity. So you enter the name of the owner of the address, and then on the other lines you type in the address of that person or that entity. If it's your own address, as I said, you will not need to fill out this space. That's why you see it is written here optional. And so if it is your own address, you will not provide any information in this first field. Move on to the next question, which requires the actual address. So you fill out these spaces up to the end. G, we will get back to that in a moment. But before we do, address line number 2 is also optional. If your address is not long, you will not need address line number 2. You only need the first line. That is why address line number 2 is optional. Now, next we have the town or city where that address is located. The district, that is the wider geographic location, you will include it here. If you have a postal code, you include it here, and then you choose the country of that address. That is by scrolling down and searching the name of the appropriate country from this list. Question number 10 requests the country where you live today. Same as other questions containing countries. This is the list. You click on the drop down and then scroll down, search for the country where you live today. Phone number is also an optional question. If you wish, you add your phone number, but you could also leave this question without answering it. It's not going to pose any problem. Question number 12 is for your email address, and this is a very important question because if you are selected, it is by means of this question that you will receive relevant communication from the State Department. So it is a very important question, and I guess that is why the question is repeated. Enter your email address and then you confirm that email address, meaning the email address that appears in this first space should be the same in the second space. Now we move down to question number 13, which requests your highest level of education. Generally, your answer will be one of these options beginning at high school degree. Now, these two, the first two options, are usually for someone who did not graduate from high school but who qualifies to be a part of the Diversity Visa program by their work experience. So if you are not entering the Diversity Visa Lottery based on work experience, it means that your answer to this question will be one of these beginning at high school degree. Now, usually there is confusion between high school no degree and high school degree. Now, when we say high school degree, it means you have a certificate, high school diploma, high school certificate. Alright, do not consider the word degree because usually degrees are earned at the university level, so it creates confusion in the minds of people. So some people say they do not have a degree, so they choose this. But no, it shouldn't be. Your high school certificate or your high school diploma is actually your high school degree. Now, another thing that has to do with this question concerning education is when we talk about high school degree, that is having completed high school, it's not the same in all countries. Some countries it takes 12 years, in other countries it takes 13 years. But what the high school degree is actually requesting is having a level that corresponds to entering a university. So if you have reached that level at which you can be admitted into a university, then you have a high school degree. So you can choose this as your answer to this question. That takes us to the next question, which is your current marital status. If you are single, it's the first option, that is unmarried. If you are married and your spouse is not a U.S. citizen or U.S. permanent resident, and that is the general case of married couples who participate in the DV program, your answer would be the second option. Now, if you are married and your spouse, your husband or wife, is a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, you do not have to include that person. But even if you include the person, you will not be penalized. Divorced means that you were married before you are no longer married. Widowed, your husband or wife died, unfortunately, and then finally legally separated. That is, you are separated from your husband or wife after a court process. If you did not go through a court process, you are still married. So you will choose the second option instead of this. Now, regarding legally separated, you have the option to include your spouse information if you wish by clicking in this box. If you do not wish to include your spouse's information, do not click in this box. And the final question, question number 15, is your number of children. Alright, you simply type in the number of children that you have, and it includes three types of children: your biological children, your adopted children, that is, you adopted a child or a number of children by going through court process. If you did not adopt them legally, do not include them. And finally, your stepchildren. But there is one condition: the children that you wish to include on your diversity visa entry must be below 21 years old on the day that you are entering the lottery. If they are 21 years old or above, you are not allowed to include them on your entry. Now, another exception is children who are married. If your child or your children are married, you do not enter them on your diversity visa lottery entry form. Now, once you have done all of that, the next thing you do is to click on the continue button. Now, clicking on this continue button, there are two outcomes. First, you may be led to your review page. That is, the next page is going to bring out all of the information that you included when filling out the above spaces. You will be led to that page if you are a single entrant. That is, you do not have any children. That is, you type 0 for your number of children, and you did not include any spouse at the previous question number 14. In that case, you will be led to your review page where you can review your answers and make necessary corrections. If, on the other hand, you answered by entering a number of children or a spouse at question 14, then you will be led to the form of your secondary entrance, that is, your children and your spouse. And now, at that level, the form is not this long. It contains only 6 questions. That is the 6 questions that you answered at the beginning is going to request their name, and you answer using their name, their actual name, their present name. You choose their gender, their date of birth, just as we said you should do for yourself. Their city, where they were born. It could be a village. It could also be a town. As I said, it could be a small town they were born in. Enter the name of that city, town, or village. You choose their country of birth, and then the next question will concern their photograph. That will be their final question. They have only 6 questions. So that is it as regards the various questions on your DV entry form. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching it. I hope it helps you as you enter the DV lottery. Now, before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.